I'm mostly known by the name of Nduduzo Siba, which is a name that I've become accustomed to throughout this past 2 years here in Brazil. It might be a bit confusing since I've been in Brazil for the past 6 years now. As an actor, as a professional singer, as a dancer, and mostly as an activist. Initially, I thought that I would be sending a message to my president, Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa, the president of South Africa. But everything inside of me is telling me that just one man won't be able to do what needs to be done. So I'm gonna call upon the whole world to hold hands and to probably just start looking at each other from a different point of view and try to listen and understand each other before we open our mouths and say something. Some people, if not most, have seen my videos on my channels, and some people do know about my history and how I came about to be in Brazil. During the years that I've been here, I've learned the hardships of being in a country that not only doesn't speak your language, not only does not have the foods that you are accustomed to, not only does it not practice or have any engagement with your culture or your traditions, not only does it not share the same political views as you, I have learned that I had to take a stand. It's hard to stand alone. It's hard to stand alone when you are at a point of a disadvantage. What is the disadvantage? The disadvantage that I have currently is having been born a woman. Not only that, having been born black. Not only that, having been born from a continent that the whole world looks down on and believes that nothing good can come out of that continent. I pay the price of being an African. And that's not just that. Upon the stigmas that have been placed upon our continent and my country, South Africa, the world still perceives us as not having nothing to contribute to the world. There's a poem that was written by late President Nelson Mandela. He cited that the best way to know a country and the way to know how well the government takes care of its people, it's by spending time through its prison system. Because through the prison system, that is where you will see how good or bad the people who are deprived of their freedom are living. In what condition are they treated? I've been in Brazil, and the first almost 4 years of my life in Brazil, I spent inside a prison. And yes, a lot of people still question, but you were in prison. I don't look at the crime anymore of which I have paid for. I learned that in this place, you can't fight for your innocence, because the minute I stepped off that plane, I was automatically stripped of my innocence based on the color of my skin, based on my gender, based on where I come from. So I'm not even going to dispute or prove that. But what has motivated me throughout these years being here, living through the system, coming out of the system and being in the open, I've learned that the punishment doesn't end. There is no stop to the punishment. There is no level of the punishment. And with that, it's hard to believe in freedom. It's hard to believe in equality. It's hard to believe in who you are as a person who has just been through or who has just been deprived of their liberty to live for God knows a number of years. I've learned to believe that some of the laws in this country are unforgiving and ruthless, especially to foreigners. Each and every day the immigration laws are changing, and each and every day the immigration laws are changing to oppress not just any migrant, but specifically it normally comes and boils down to Africans. So this message was going to be to my president, because I am sure he is not aware of what we go through as South Africans here in Brazil, let alone as South Africans who have been through the prison system. I don't think he is aware, because the one thing that I have learned about our governments is that when tortures were done centuries ago, nobody ever went back to visit those tortures to see how are they functioning. When those tortures were implemented, how were they to benefit the person that is going through the system after the price has been paid? Most of my brothers and sisters, they come out of prison without documentation, without work, without relatives, without any communication with family, without any basic education, without speaking the language, without having even a shelter. They are in this country under these conditions, whereby even our consulates can't help, because when you ask, they tell you, we don't know our mandate here, which is shameful from my point of view. Looking at our background and our history, looking at how much Nelson Mandela achieved with his history, what he has done for our country, not just our country, but the entire continent. It is a sad shame to know that till this day, there are people who don't believe that something good can come out of prison. The day I came out of prison, I called my mom and I said, Mom, for almost 4 years, I was buried. I felt like I was buried because there was no hope. I was just in this dark hole, and I was expected to either survive or die. And sometimes that wasn't even your choice to choose. When I told my mom that, she said, no matter how you might have felt, you didn't die there. So look at your life as a seed. You know, a rotten potato gets thrown into a hole and gets buried and covered. That potato grows into a seed. And many people get inside prison and they die. They don't come out. Not physical death. They die inside. Most of these people don't think, don't believe, don't feel that there's something outside for anyone else, especially for them. But they come out, only to come to a place whereby they're not accepted. How do they then grow? How do they then change? If the state puts you in a place where it's meant to correct you, shouldn't there be a place then after the correction has taken place whereby you can at least have a chance to prove yourself that you are worthy? Because that's what we constantly fight to do on a daily basis. Prove that I'm worthy of a second chance. Prove that I'm worthy of taking a bus without the second person holding their bag a bit closer. To go to an interview and not be ashamed to say I come from prison because I might lose that job. Those are challenges that we face. I'm not saying feel sorry about it. It's not your life. But the next person is feeling something. The next person is going through something. You might not have been through prison, but there are people who do go through that. There are people who do come out of that. I sit here today and I look at the things that I have accomplished, not alone, but because there were so many people in this very country who decided to hold my hand and show me love. Those people made me realize that I'm not on my own, therefore I can't live for myself. I cannot be selfish. The little that I can do, even if it's just to change one person's life, I would do it. Oh hell, I'll die trying. And these are the very same people that encourage me each and every day to stand out here and say, listen, I went to prison. I know what it's like. I know what it's like to live after prison. I know what it's like to wake up in the morning and literally feel dead and just be like, no, it's enough. I can't anymore. I don't know where to go. I don't know where to start. I don't know what to do. There's nothing comes up. Nothing comes alive. I know those people. And that's why we have a campaign that is called Nduduzo Has a Voice. It's so that all of those people can have their say, can have their voices. And that maybe the world, not just to be tolerant to us, but for the world to give us a place that we deserve to be in. A chance to live just like everybody else. So, yeah. I'm gonna sing a Zulu song that I used to sing inside because I don't know, it just gave me strength to just go on. It is called Ingabayam, which means my fortress or my stronghold. Ginawamandla umangowa sengethembu Jesu inqabaya mina nginawamandla umangowami sengethembu Jesu inqabaya mina nginawamandla uzingqubela sengethembu Jesu inqabaya mina nginawamandla umangowami ngethembu Jesu yena inqabaya yena uphakeme yena uphakeme ngethembu Jesu inqabaya ngethembu Jesu yena inqabaya manginawamandla umangowami ngethembu Jesu